Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever it is that you're watching this. I am Deborah Roth from Spirited Living, and here for this week's edition of introducing you to reclaiming, embracing, embodying the divine feminine with our inner goddess team. This is actually the first time, too, that I'm doing this on Instagram Live, as I've continued to do. But Facebook Live, my apologies to those who have been trying to listen to when I recorded directly on the Facebook Live. I don't know why, but there's lots of background noise. There is not anymore. I'm doing this straight onto my video camera onto YouTube. So, with that preface, I'm so glad you're here. We are in this space each week to really understand and embody and reclaim for ourselves and ultimately for the world all the qualities of the divine feminine, which our planet so sorely needs. You can find a video that describes what all of these qualities are and how it relates to the inner goddess team and why we all need one, by clicking, I believe, in the little eye icon in the upper right corner of this video. If it's not there yet, it will be. So what we do here each week is really invite you to get reacquainted, because they've been with us always, these qualities, these divinely feminine qualities of compassion, of sensitivity, of honoring our intuition and our emotions, of celebrating our bodies, and through our bodies, our connection to nature. Just a few of the ways that the divine feminine shows up in us. And she is represented by goddess figures from around the world, these archetypes of the divine feminine. This week, on February 8th, I've discovered is one of the feast days of the Greek goddess Selene, which is like the ultimate moon goddess. She wasn't even actually a goddess. She was the moon. She was the personification of the moon. And I will tell you before I forget that I get a lot of my wonderful resources from a beautiful website called the Mother House of the Goddess. And so some of the many of the videos, I'll start there and I'll reach out, and I just have lots of sources. You can always ask me for them if you want to dive deeper yourself. So Selene was actually one of the daughters of the Titans. The Titans were the pre-Olympian, Zeus and Hera and all the Olympian, the Greek gods and goddesses. The Titans were their parents and grandparents. And Selene was the daughter of, let me find it, of Hyperion and Thea. And one of her brothers was Helios, who was the sun god, who rode his chariot across the skies with the sun. And the ruby or the rosy dawn, Eos, was one of her sisters. And she's often pictured, actually, Selene is, as riding her steeds, having her steeds pull her across the night sky with the moon behind her. So really, anytime that you are aware of the moon, any of the phases of the moon, you can see what a moon mama I am here. I have phases of the moon all over my office, strung across the ceiling over there, and along, and I'm not going to take my camera over there to show you, but each phase of the moon has a different meaning, and each phase of the moon represents a different quality of Selene as the moon. I'm a moon goddess because I love the moon, and I'm also a Cancer, which in astrology is ruled by the moon. I'm wearing my moonstone, a gift from some friends, which is one of the several stones that if you want to invoke Selene, either on a new or full moon or any time that you want to invoke the lunar qualities of our intuition and understanding your dreams better. All of these are really ways to invoke Selene. There are also lots of different crystals. Selenite, which is actually named by her, selenite, and she is she's a goddess that's very, she comes out at night, so she's very much kind of a shy and introverted, going into the dark, introspective, reflective places that the moon represents. And she is, and therefore the selenite, moonstone, but selenite in particular is to bring calm and peace. And it's actually a great one for recharging. I put my crystal bracelet on it every night, on the rod, on the wand, on my selenite wand. A few depictions of her. Here is one of her riding through the sky. Can you see her? Her white steeds are pulling her across the sky with the moon, and she's often depicted with a crescent moon on her head. This image really, I think, exemplifies, and I've actually used this for my Artemis, for my circles where I'm honoring Artemis or Diana, because they are later aspects of Selene. There she is, riding. I don't know if she's riding anything. I think she's just floating in the air, but with an arrow, because both Diana and Artemis were the goddesses of the hunt in Greek and Roman mythology. So, but anytime you see images of the moon in any of the aspects, this one, the moon, the crescent moon, makes up this wonderful bow and arrow that she's carrying. So, a piece of her mythology, which I think is very sweet, is that she fell in love with a human shepherd. They think he was a shepherd. That's what legend says anyway. Endymion. And probably as she was crossing the sky at night with her moon, and knew that it wasn't a good idea to fall in love with humans. Apparently her sister Aurora fell in love with one who Zeus turned into a grasshopper. She was very careful about how she approached Zeus to allow her lover to live forever. And so he's allowed to live forever by slumbering into eternity. Now, here's the hitch. Clearly, he was not sleeping all the time, because she apparently bore $50, the legend says, the myth says, 50 daughters, I say dollars, daughters, through Endymion. So she's, he was definitely busy and waking up often enough to play with her. And I love this. This is very much around moon, solar stuff, lunar stuff as well. She bore Pandia, which means all brightness, that goddess, and Ursi, which is the dew. So she was also a lover of Zeus and of Pan, probably bore other children with them, but that's a little bit of her mythology. There's a beautiful ode to Homeric ode from Homer to Selene that I'd love to read for you. Muses, sweet speaking daughters of Zeus, and mistresses of song, sing next of the long-winged moon. From her immortal head a 7-cent glow envelops the earth, and great beauty arises under the radiance. From the golden crown the dim air is made to glitter as her rays turn night to noon. Whatever bright Selene, having bathed her beautiful skin in the ocean, put on the shining raiment and harnessed her proud-necked and glittering steeds, swiftly drives them across as their manes play with the evening, dividing the months. She's connected with the rhythms of the moon. Her great orbit is full, and as she waxes, a most brilliant light appears in the sky. Thus to mortals, she is a sign and a token. Isn't that lovely? Now I will give you a little tip. If you want to know, as you're connecting, as you're getting to know Selene, as you're getting to know the moon better, whether she's in the waxing or waning stage. Waxing is when she's moving from the new moon to the full moon, so she's growing bigger. And waning is when she's hit the full moon, she's gone past the full moon, and she's moving back to the new moon. And if you hold your right hand, I don't know how this is going to come through, probably come through backwards, but your right hand, if you hold it up to the sky in a C shape, and the crescent fits inside that, that means it's, or whatever the points are going on the moon, maybe it's a half moon, but if the round part fits in that C of your right hand, then that is a waxing moon time. If it's the other direction, so I guess your left hand, I just always think about putting my right hand up, it's a waning moon time. So I don't remember how I learned that years ago, but I love it because it's definitely a way to know what what phase of the moon we're in, and then learn about them. Dane Rudyard was a really wonderful kind of psychological astrologer who really delineated the different phases of the moon and what their energies are and how you can use each of the different phases to, to invoke and make changes in your life, which I won't go into all of those now. So Selene is, I would say, pretty clearly a woman's goddess because she does represent the changing moon. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days. It obviously, the lunar calendar, changes every month. So she really represents rhythms, which are reflective of the the rhythms of women's bodies, and yin energy. It's very much inward, introspective energy. This moon energy, which makes it a great one for being able to call on her when you want to call on creativity and intuition and understanding your dreams better. So, of course, even though it may not be right on a full moon or a new moon or even on this celebration day of hers, you can call on Selene because she's always up there. Even in the dark of the moon, she's there, and you will start to see a sliver as she begins to grow again to full. So I invite you to, I would just love to know what you do as you connect more deeply with Selene, with this powerful moon energy that we can all tap into. Remembering that whether you're male or female, our inner goddess team is truly not gender specific. And please, subscribe to this channel and see more, and be able to check out all the other members of your inner goddess team and see who resonates most with you, or if you have a particular quality that you want to tap into, what's the goddess that's associated with that, to just deepen your experience of whatever the change is that you're trying to invoke in your life. So please do take some time to reconnect with the moon wherever you are tonight, and to draw on this wise, peaceful, intuitive energy of Selene, and then leave some comments and let me know how it goes. Thanks so much for being with me, and we'll see you next week.